Hello. I can't hear anybody. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear anybody else.
I can hear you. I can't hear anybody else.
Yeah, I can hear Natasha.
Yeah. There you go. You have Jennifer in the waiting room.
That's totally on recording. The record forever.
Okay. The date is October 11th, 2021, and the time is 5:31. I'll go ahead and call the UPTD board meeting to order. First or second thing on our list is roll call.
Lonnie Rainville,
Here.
Janice Baker,
She's muted.
I think you're muted, Janet.
I'm here.
Sarah Thompson.
I'm here.
Is there a Mike Baker? No.
It's gonna be late.
And no Mark and no Cat.
So if we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the United
to the
States
States
of
of
America,
America and to the republic for which it
one
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Throws you off, doesn't it?
way off. All right. Consent agenda 4.1, September 13th, 2021, regular meeting minutes. Everybody had a chance to review those?
Yep.
I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve.
I can second it. I'll second it.
A motion?
Oh, yeah, motion.
Motion by Tom,
I'll second.
by Sarah. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And motion carries. Item number 5, September financial report review and discussion. All right.
Sherry.
Okay. Everybody got a copy of the financial statement?
Yes.
They come later.
No. No, it's in the board packet on Wednesday.
There he is.
Okay.
Hi, Mike.
Let's make it online.
Yep.
I'm on twice.
Okay.
So quarter to date,
There's more.
I just wanted to start out medical transports. We are between what we're receiving from Bay Cities and what we're putting out to volunteer drivers, we're still making about 24,000 for the quarter, so it's about 8,000 a month.
Good, yeah.
So it's good revenue builder for us.
Yeah, no
Payroll, the bus salaries look like they're really under budget, but the demand response, we've budgeted them as a different line item on their own, so, which there was no budget for that. So all in all, we're still under budget in the, as with payroll as a whole, so we're doing really well with that. There is the audit fees. Just quarter to date, look like they're over budget, but they are not year to date, so that's not any concern. The only thing that I would say, could be a concern as the year progresses is just the fuel costs, and I think that we're just over budget because of the cost of fuel right now.
Sure.
We budgeted for that, but it's not a big concern. Right now, it's about $1,500 a month. But that could just, if prices starts to decrease, it could be just fine, but I don't see anything that has been, I mean, for them building a budget based off of, I don't know if they used actuals from the year prior, but there were no actuals, so I think that overall, they've done a really good job of building the budget for this year. I don't think anything is gonna stand out as a big concern, not at this point anyways. Bus fares are in line, which is good, because we didn't, from what I understand, we didn't have any bus fares last year.
Right.
So, yeah, they've done a really good job at figuring out what we're gonna make there, but we are, I think we're slightly doing better, actually, on the bus fares. We are slightly about $1,000 for the quarter.
Good.
Yeah. I don't see anything that's jumping out at me that's raising too much concern.
So I have a motion to accept the financial report as presented.
So moved.
Mike, second, any discussion? Oh, I actually need another second.
Oh, I'll second it.
So, all right, now any discussion?
Are we looking at the really big packet or the 5-page sheet?
It was the,
Not the
big
big packet.
yeah,
Just
just
a
that,
5-page.
just the 5-page.
Okay.
The other one is the audit.
Okay.
So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Hearing none, motion approved. Okay. New business, financial audit report. And it was in the packet, and sure you want to take us through a little bit?
Let's see. I have gone through the audit and have read through it, not all at once. I've read through it portions at a time. But I did not see anything there that is a critical action item or any real action item for us. So that's good. That's really good. I didn't see anything where they were making any recommendations really on making any major changes.
So on all the boards that I have been on, the auditors actually come and do a presentation to the board.
Oh, okay,
And so maybe for next year, we can arrange to have them actually present.
okay.
Yeah, I've always had the auditor show up.
Well, this audit is up through last.
This
June of
is the first fiscal
2019,
year.
Yeah.
First fiscal year.
Yeah.
So we are, I think, in the process of uploading all of our documents and everything to them. Audit.
For this year, okay.
Mhm. Well, for last.
Yeah.
Last year would be
June.
now.
June.
Mhm.
It's almost surprising they, in some ways, they didn't find something, in our first
Right. that's what
year
I thought
of
too.
operation. I know, I know we had a good accounting firm that does this stuff. That's why I hired originally was, so we didn't get in trouble, but
Right.
still I'm surprised.
It took a lot of time to get
Because
this audit through.
Yeah.
I know that the triage there between me, Cheryl, and Laura, it took a lot of time to get it all coordinated to make sure that everything was submitted to Uncle Valley.
Yeah, just all the internal processes and
Yeah,
records.
generally
and-
your first year audit is the hardest because they don't know anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what their expectations are and what they need, so. This next audit will be a lot
I
smoother.
actually know the auditor in this one too. I didn't know he was gonna,
Bill?
Steve Toucher.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he's overseeing it.
Did he actually do the audit or is he?
No,
is
it
he-
was
he
Bill
the-
Romo.
oh, okay.
Yeah, Steve was just overseeing.
Do we need to actually accept the auditor's report? Typically,
Based on the fiscal policy for the district, it says that it's just meant to be presented to you guys, just like I quoted it right there. But based on what I retrieved from Bill Romo, the auditor, is that they don't need board approval to get it posted. They just need admin approval to get it posted to Secretary of State. And all that this is really waiting on is just the minor grammatical errors that are in here, and that's it. And then we can have it uploaded. Otherwise, we can just have it uploaded as is, and then they can do a amendment with Secretary of State. But like he said, this one's already late anyway, so it's not gonna make a difference when it gets submitted. But I had put the in favor of post and abstained without confirming that to begin with. I just haven't altered the cover sheet. It's not an action item,
so. maybe for our
unless you
next-
want to make it an action item.
Typically, I've always had to where, like I said, the auditors come in and present and then the board actually approves to accept the audit report as presented. And then the administration then posts it up, but
I can also double check the RFP too to see what's listed in there for
I mean, and like,
the requirements with them.
has anybody had anything different on board? That's usually the way I've seen it
That's what
done.
we've always done.
So for next year, maybe we can have it done that way. Okay.
We could still probably make a motion and accept the,
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that just so we have it on record.
okay, so I'll move to accept the, is there a date on it?
2020.
The 2020 audit.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mike, a second by Sarah. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Yeah, opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, motion carries. All right, 7.2 vaccine incentive discussion. Who is carrying this one?
That was Cheryl.
It was a Cheryl. I can call her so that she can do the presentation for it, or if you want to push it
I know that she had a meeting
with all the
with all of the
employees.
employees. And did
Like a anonymous census of
of who was vaccinated and who was not vaccinated. And then if of the unvaccinated, if there was any incentive that they might have, that they might have preferred to get vaccinated, but we
So,
already have 51% that are vaccinated and 48% that are unvaccinated. at this
which
point.
may or may not be accurate based on the
Right.
anonymity.
Of the unvaccinated, was there a question asked at all, if you're not vaccinated, do you intend to get vaccinated or something like that?
I was actually in quarantine when the meeting happened.
so just for the sake of being able to get more information
So-
on this, if there's no objection, I'd like to defer this one to next meeting. Is everybody okay with that?
I am.
So there was one thing this is shared with you that I shared with
Unless
Cheryl.
you'd like us to call Cheryl, and she's more than happy to.
That's all right.
Okay.
We just do
There
it
was
next meeting.
there was an email I shared with Cheryl that I got from a board member from RDTD. And they it sounds like went forward with the vaccine mandate, and part of it, if I can kind of summarize, basically, it has to do with how the state, the Oregon, and I'm gonna get screwed all up, but anyway, kind of the state health plan or health something or other, state OSHA guidelines basically follow whatever the federal does. So they'll adopt at least what the federal did, they can make it more restrictive.
Mhm.
But so the federal has to write their regs. The state will adopt those, and normally it wouldn't apply to special districts and cities and counties and all of that. It would apply, to maybe the executive branch or something like that. But because of the way they do this with the state OSHA thing, it will apply to cities and counties and special districts. So it's possible.
How many
When all the
employees
regs are
do
done.
you have within the district?
So we have 38 employees.
So I don't think we meet the threshold for the federal
It
mandate.
doesn't matter. That's not the
We're not
100
at the
thing.
100 yet.
Oh,
You're not at the 100, but under the state OSHA requirements, that's what's gonna trigger it for the district. So we could be triggered when the regulations are all written, assuming,
is districts part of the mandate?
no, it's part of, we fall under OSHA. And because we have to comply with OSHA. And the state
OSHA's still working on
OSHA
it.
plan follows the federal one, then we're one of the 26 states or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it will apply to cities and counties and special districts.
Like-
But I think, what I was telling this person was, well, I think for us, it's just wait until, let's see what what happens with the regulations, basically. It's gonna take time for the federal to write them, it's gonna take a little bit of time for the state to write them. And then, maybe there's some intervening court decisions or something
I
that
think
prevents
we're
us
ways
from
out
having to
from
do
that.
it. Otherwise, but it's very possible that we may end up having to do a mandate outside of our control.
I do know we had a total of 14 that were unvaccinated, but 8 of the 14 have already had COVID. So
This-
if you combine natural immunity with our vaccinated, we are more at like 80, almost 80% of ours.
That depends on the variants and everything else.
But I think the OSHA thing will require them to be vaccinated as well.
As well,
Yeah.
right?
And I know RBTD has lost a bunch of drivers.
Which may very well happen here as
Yeah.
well, because a lot of the drivers
We
they
have
feel
at
strongly
least
about either
5.
position that
Yeah.
they stand on.
We have at least 5 that are deeply.
Well, at this point in time, nothing's come out, so I don't want to go cross that
Right.
bridge or assume anything, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll kick that to the next
The next
meeting and have Cheryl do a presentation to us on that. Item 8.1, the OGEC discussion. We are going to remove that off of here. Basically, Ron will be reaching out to each of the board members individually or sending out an email if he hasn't already on that item. And so we're going to go ahead and pull it off of the board discussion. 8.2, resolution 21.4, title 6 policy. Motion to approve resolution 21-4, title 6 policy. You have a report on that? Other than what was in the packet?
That one you very well may want Cheryl on it. The only update to these packets, which I will have to email it to everyone else unless I can mail it to, was that it did come back from ODOT and they wanted one line updated, which I did in the physical packet here, regarding the
This follows pretty much what the ODOT requirements.
yes,
is.
it was just one line that they wanted slightly altered within this entire document. Otherwise, they said it looked good, and that it was fine the way that it was written. There was just one sentence that I did update per ODOT and Civil Rights Department, whichever it's called, and that's been updated.
And I
So,
think this is something that's due as
Yes.
part of the compliance stuff,
Yes.
and maybe even a little bit late.
So I
yes.
have no problem approving this if I have a motion on this one.
I'm going to move to go ahead and approve the Umpqua Public Transportation District Title VI Program Non-Discrimination Policy and Limited English Proficiency Plan.
Okay, I have a motion from Michael. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Sarah. Any discussion on this? It does fall within the guidelines of the state ODOT plan, so hearing no discussion, I'll go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you all. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over the general manager report for obvious reasons. Jennifer, you want to take us through an ODOT report?
Sure. We are doing all things NTD right now, which is the National Transit Database report. It is due by all providers by Friday of this week. You guys have gotten in and looked at the report, and my understanding is that there's supposed to be information entered tomorrow. I think, is that when Cheryl's going to be back, is tomorrow or Wednesday?
Gonna be back tomorrow. She did input some of the data, but she was waiting on a couple of other items. So she said when she got in tomorrow morning, and tomorrow she'll work through it.
And the sooner you get it in and entered, the better, because as we get closer to the reporting date, it's harder and harder to get into the system, especially with everybody across the nation trying to enter their data, because it is a national report. We have a 5339, which is a bus and bus facility grant that the Federal Transit Administration put out. Cheryl did submit a request or a email of interest, and then those grant reports or grant applications are due November 4th. It is a national competitive, so we have a chance of getting it. Sometimes it's not as good as when we have the state funding, but I believe that Cheryl put in for a facility. So for the facility stuff that you had tried for the last facilities grant. Marcia and I were talking, and she said that she thought that that might have a pretty good chance because it is a facility. And sometimes those rate a little bit higher in priority, so that'll be good. We will be coming out with solicitation material also in November for another 5339, which is a state grant, as well as discretionary for 5310, 5311, and some CARES funding, CARES Carissa, and whatever the new term is, funding. So that will be coming out, and those will be competitive, statewide competitive. So I encourage you to apply for those. And then we also are updating a couple of the training modules that came out. There were some that they had technical difficulties and some issues. And so there will be new training materials coming out, and I will send emails when that happens. And other than that, I think that's about it from ODOT. And one thing I do want to remind you is, gosh, I sound like Columbo or something. I have one more thing. If you guys ever watched Columbo.
Yeah.
You're dating yourself, Jennifer.
I know. Well, I watched it with my grandma on reruns, you know. But I actually watched it with my daughter last summer because I said, you've got to watch these shows. They're so good. As a reminder for your guys' audit, you do need to have that uploaded to ODOT as well, 30 days after it's completed. So send that to the reporting, or you can send it to me and I can forward it on to you, but that is required for your STIF and for your state transit funds. And I don't know if any of you had an opportunity, I said I was done, but if any of you had an opportunity to listen in on the STIF, STF combining process, they have one more meeting, and I believe that it's on the 29th of this month. Great opportunity to give some input on those rules as they make modifications and try to incorporate the two programs together. So far, a lot of the folks that have been providing comment have been concerned that the STF, which a lot of the smaller agencies utilize exclusively, is going to lose the effectiveness, which, you know, it goes specifically for elder and disabled transit. And so I know that that's going to be one of the things that they're really looking at as they design the rules, because we don't want to have dilution of the funds for the elder and disabled folks. So we shall see what happens with that. It should be coming out a draft in November, early December. And then, of course, those rules will take effect. My understanding is that they are going to come out with the solicitation materials for STIF early, which will be summer of next year, which I can't even believe that it's almost time to start working on the next biennium, but it's going to be here before we know it. So stay tuned for that information on those grants. Any questions?
How would we go sit in on that stiff meeting?
I can send you the link.
Yeah, if it works out for me, I'd be interested.
Okay, I will send it to you, Tom.
Thank you.
Is it better to send it to your district email or your home email?
Yeah, the district, either one is fine, really.
Okay. Or I
Me
can,
too, Jennifer.
I'll send it to Christina, and if Christina can send it out, that would be great.
Perfect. Great. Thank you,
Sounds
Jennifer.
good, thank you.
All right, item number 11, not on agenda. Does anybody have anything?
Well, I would just point out in the director's report, you had asked a couple months ago for the timeline of the STIF projects.
Mhm.
So there's a listing of the STIF projects and kind of where we're at, some dates, which is kind of nice, and
Oh, perfect.
kind of where the hiring and stuff is going. So it's in that director's report there. So
Perfect.
point that out. And then the other thing I was just going to ask about was just on email from, I won't tell the board, I'm guessing, but Diana from Reedsport was asking about the contract or whatever we're doing there. I forget what
Yes,
that
I
was called.
saw that and I checked in with Cheryl briefly about that, because she replied all when she asked the question.
Yeah.
It's still in process, and I do believe that Cheryl did actually respond directly to
Okay.
Reedsport. I'm not 100% sure, but that's my understanding. So that's the only update I have in regards to that. But yes, I'm aware, it's on my radar.
Okay, something's in process though.
Mhm.
Getting it going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, like I said, it's on my radar, which means I get to bed. So
Perfect. Anything else from anybody? All right, hearing none, I will move on to item number 12, public comment. Is there anybody from the public that has any comments?
Natasha Atkinson, just about vaccine mandates. FYI, natural immunity is not covered. And so you have to have a religious, medical exception or be immunized by whatever date they choose. And I just really caution the district that I wish I had done more before we were mandated, because we've lost almost a third of our team. Well, about a fourth of our team due to the mandate. So I strongly encourage you guys to do as much as you can before it's mandated, because people are not happy once it's mandated.
Get ahead of it. Thank you.
That might be, the one piece we always forget about is the medical or religious exemptions. So it might be.
yeah, I just learned about that through Bully this morning.
Yeah, so it might be good to, and it's hard to really prove what is a medical, what is a religious exemption, too much. So, but it has to be religious and not based on politics. I know that in the statements, it doesn't have to be long, but anyway, that might be something that's worth talking to the employees, just making sure they know what all their options, including locations they can get vaccinated and all of that. So just where's the forms to do this?
Mhm.
How does it get approved? And of course, where are options to get vaccinated? if they wanna do
Right.
it.
I really feel like we shouldn't be means testing people's sincerity to their resistance. You don't have a checkoff list or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's just making sure that it's not you're not making a political statement about how you don't believe in it, which some people do. It
It's
just needs
legitimate.
just some kind of religion, and you don't need something from a pastor or anything like that, but just, a truly held belief about, maybe their body. The body is a temple,
Mhm.
you
There's
can
really
get
only
into things
certain
like that.
religions that actually have that.
Yeah,
as part
so-
of
I
it.
think you can only ask, A or B or C, none. And no means testing, no pastor's note, no, how sincere are you? If they say they're sincerely held belief, that's enough.
Yeah, again, I'm just saying, I agree with Kat. I'm just saying, I think this needs to be the statement needs to have some kind of religious context or reason, not a
think-
political statement.
I'm sure there's an actual form out
Form, I
there.
was gonna say, is there an actual form that we have to have them fill out? and it
Usually
has to
there
be
is,
approved
so-
by-
There's
Usually
a form, OHA has a form that they required. I would strongly recommend. It's super easy.
I just found it.
And in fact,
Yeah.
in the statement should be pretty short, doesn't have to be very long, and you could probably Google some potential ones.
Yeah, OHA just released a bunch of public notices
Yeah.
and things like that.
But just make sure they have all their
Try to
options, I guess, is all I'm saying.
Can't
for
they just check a box?
I think it's pretty much what's on the form. It says check the
I hope
box.
so.
I'll
Good.
look.
Actually, it has to be made,
Oh, is it? Okay.
yeah.
I don't think we should put any type of length on the requirements on that, so.
I'll look
No,
at
they
it.
just say the shorter the better. Longer it is, the more you're likely to get yourself in trouble.
Right. Perfect. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll move on to item number 13, agenda build. So we will have the vaccine incentive discussion on our next meeting. What else do we have?
Is 8.1 deferred or is that just removed altogether?
Removed altogether.
Okay.
Is there anything else from the audit that we're working on?
The current
That
one,
needs to be
We're-
approved?
Currently.
Not
working
the
on-
financial audit, the
the audit.
FTA audit.
Without having the list in front of me, I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
Maybe we just put up that on the-
I can double check.
if there's anything
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I can definitely say there are. I have not gotten finalized documents on any of the requirements yet. So I would need to have those finalized documents in order to get it written off. So you guys are a little bit behind schedule because we had some that were 30, some that were 60. And we're just passing the 90-day after your. So we're getting close to 120 actually. So we definitely need to get to working on ensuring that I have those final documents so we can get you.
Because I thought we approved something,
yeah.
so maybe they just didn't get submitted.
So those get submitted to you, Jennifer?
Yep, and then I forward them on to David Schwartz for compliance. Yep.
Jennifer,
I have quite a few of them done. I just haven't gotten the final after it was approved.
Okay.
do you mind sending me, do you have a list of those that were still outstanding that I can follow up with Cheryl when she gets back?
Yeah.
You forward those to me and then I'll sit down with her and just kind of go through the checklist. Okay, anything else on agenda build? And I know we'll kind of develop as the month goes along, but
Right, did we want to review that stiff list next month with Cheryl being present? Or is that just an FYI for your?
right now it's just, it was an FYI for me.
Okay,
I mean, did anybody have any
I
detail on it?
will forward it to the rest of you. Unless you want a physical copy, I will mail it.
I'll take an email copy, please.
I'll bring mine home.
Go ahead and email it, I guess.
I want to thank you, Christine, for getting mine mailed to me so promptly. I was able to review everything. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I was concerned about the extra days on the postal business days that they did on October 1st. So that's why I made sure that
Isn't that nice?
received it.
Okay, if there's nothing else on the agenda, Bill, I'll go ahead and go to item number 14, which is adjourn. Time is 6:04. Meeting adjourned.
Nice.
See you next
Yeah.
time.
Thank you guys.
Christine,
Yeah.
can you email me the manager's report from this meeting?
I can email you what I have. I will do that within the next few minutes. I'll send it
Oh,
out.
okay.
Ruby.
Thank you.
Thank you.